Testing. Okay, good. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry for the late start. Laundry happened. Give me a second to let people know that I'm live, and we will get rolling right along. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. 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 How was everybody's time? I know it's been a while since I've talked to all of you. Let me... Hello, Jesus. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's been a while. Yeah, I'm glad to be seen. I'm just posting everywhere, letting people know that I'm live. It has been a lot of delayed reaction. I honestly just came through the door like 15 minutes ago. Okay. Okay. Hello, Noel Main. Good to see you. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad to be seen. It's been a ride. I have quite the story to share, and I can't even share all of it. Okay. Alrighty. Let me now to let the people know on Discord. I need to post in my Discord that I'm live. Gotta post all the places. Okay. Okay. Hello, LeMay. Good to see you. Welcome. It's good to see you. It's good to see people here. Okay, I think I've posted everywhere I want to post. Okay. I've got a Twitch ad in progress from my Twitch viewers. Ready. Got the music going, got the camera, I got everything situated. Ooh. Model is doing weird things. Let me calibrate. It's gonna take some getting used to. Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hi, good to be seen. Is you? Testing. Hello. Oh my gosh. Have I just been talking this whole time and nobody heard me? I just looked down and saw that the mic thing wasn't moving. Oh, great. I hope I don't have to. Oh, that sucks. So I had to move. I've moved. You didn't hear anything. All right. So I've been talking and my microphone was just not functioning. Well, the setting wasn't functioning. OBS is being silly right now, and being finicky with recognizing my mic. Like, I have to like click on and reactivate the mic thing on each. I'm probably gonna have to remember to do it on each scene. Testing. Okay. Ah, great. The cable's being finicky. I think, my gosh, I really hope I don't have to order another USB sound card. It's being finicky. The cable's being finicky. I have to like mess with it. Anyway, hey Nabiru. I'm glad the audio is pretty good. So anyway, 2 weeks ago, there was an emergency at the place where I was living. I can't go into all the details, but the long and short of it is I could not stay there. I needed to find someplace to go for about a week. Duct tape it in place. Exactly, Nabiru. Exactly. So I needed to find a place to go. And I needed to find a place to go really fast. And I reached out to my community and I said, hey, I need help. And you all as a community responded, and my not just you all, but some other members of my online community that I interact with, and an online church that I interact with, came out and pulled together money to allow me to get an Airbnb, which enabled me to have a place to stay. And one of the things I posted about was that my first night at the Airbnb, I stepped on my laptop. It was frustrating, and since I didn't have my PC with me because I wasn't home, that was my only way to do stuff. So it was very frustrating, and I was like, well, that's a problem. That's a problem right there. And the original plan, hello, Silva. Welcome. Yes, it is me, Silva. I am here. I am here. I have arrived. The original plan was to eat tacos. Okay. And so it was a whole thing where I was there, and the original plan was not to eat tacos. The original plan was to stay at the Airbnb for a week, let the stuff happen that I can't really go into, and then move back into the place where I was staying, and then go back to business as usual. That was the original plan. And then, so I moved into the Airbnb on a Monday, and then on Wednesday, I got a phone call. And the phone call was from an apartment complex I'd applied to for government-assisted housing. And they called me, and I applied for government-assisted housing for this place, for this apartment complex over a year ago, between a year and 2 years ago. So it was a significant period of time, to the point that I'd forgotten about it, right? There was part of me that had kind of accepted that I was just going to be stuck where I was. And then they just called me out of the blue, and they're like, "Hey, are you still looking for a 1-bedroom apartment?" And I was like, "Yes," because it was very fortuitous. It happened right in the middle of all of that. And they're like, "Well, your name was next on the waiting list. We have a 1-bedroom apartment that's going to be coming available soon. But in order to apply for the government-assisted housing, you have to get this, and this paperwork together and get it to us as soon as possible. When can you get it to us?" Now, I was originally scheduled to be at the Airbnb until the following Monday. So they're like, "Okay, so this is a Wednesday. I'm going to be at the Airbnb till the following Monday. And my ride, the only person I could really rely on to drive me around to get these things, was staying at the place where I was living before, on the opposite end of town." So I was like, "Okay, you said the room is coming available next week. I can have that paperwork to you like Tuesday or Wednesday." Because I don't deal well with sudden things. I don't deal well with urgent, sudden things that have to happen right now. I don't deal super well with that. So I was trying to process, and they're like, "Well, we can't hold it that long. We're going to keep going down the waiting list till we find someone who can get to us. If nobody's gotten to us by then yeah, you could turn stuff in, but it's first come, first serve." And they're like, "So these things don't come up very often." And I was like, "Well, I'll see if I can get a ride." And then they ended the phone call. And for about 45 minutes, I froze. I was just like processing. I was like, "What do I do? What do I do?" And then after about 45 minutes, I got my brain in gear. And I was like, "Okay, I need to do this." Right? So I called my friends. I texted my friends, actually. I think I might have Facebook messaged them. And I was like, "Hey, can you ask so-and-so if she can give me a ride to go pick up these papers, because I just got a call from an apartment complex." And my friend was like, "Well, when's the deadline? When do you have to have the stuff by?" I'm like, "They said it's first come, first serve." So they're like, "Okay, we need to do this right now." And my friends were all piled up in the car, and they were on their way to go grocery shopping. And then they suddenly just dropped all of that. They dropped all of it and turned around, drove across town, picked me up, spent the next 2.5 to 3 hours driving me around town while I was getting the paperwork together and getting the printouts I needed. Yeah, they were real G's. And then driving me to the apartment complex to turn in the paperwork. Now I ended up calling the apartment complex. I was like, "Listen, I'm trying to get this stuff together. What time do you close?" And they're like, "Can you get the stuff today?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm trying to get it today." And they're like, "Well, we close at such time. But if you can't get it to us today, can you get it to us by such time in the morning?" And I'm like, "Sure." And my friend's like, "No, it's not. We're not. This isn't going until tomorrow. We're getting this done today. This is getting done today." And they said it was first come, first serve. So I took that to mean if I was the first one there, I'd get the room. the apartment. And I keep saying room, and I kept saying room, and I confused them. Like, it's an apartment. And I'm like, listen, I've been renting rooms for over 6 years, right? I have been bouncing around couch surfing, getting rooms for about 5-6 years now. No, probably not 6, probably closer to 4. Because when I started streaming, I was renting a house. So it's probably closer to 4 years. It just feels longer. And so I got the paperwork in, and then they said they needed to contact my last person I rented from in order to do a rental history check. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. And then they're like, we need to also, since it's been over a year, we have to run a credit check on you. And I'm like, oh, great. Because I don't deal with credit. Like, I don't deal with, like, I have like an unpaid like credit card that I haven't been able to make payments on in forever that probably got canceled. And I have debts. But when they're like, we got to run your credit, I was just like, oh no. And I didn't know at that point whether I was going to get the room, and that was on Wednesday. The situation at the place where I was staying hadn't been resolved yet. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to move back in if all of this falls through. So I ended up getting an extension on the Airbnb to go from, instead of going to Monday, to go to Wednesday. And that ended up being a waste of money, but it just was what it was. Anyway, I'll get to that. So, I did all of that, and then on Thursday afternoon, they called me back and they said, you've been approved for the apartment. Here's how much your rent's going to be. Here's how much your security deposit's going to be. You need to be here by such time tomorrow morning to sign all the paperwork for the apartment. And I was like, okay. Called my friends, and my friends are like, well, we owe you money anyway, which I wasn't planning to like chase them down for the money they owed me, but they're like, we're gonna cover your security deposit, which was really nice, really great. And was huge. And so got all of that stuff situated. And so the thing was, it was like really nerve-wracking going in on that on Friday, because I had been developing a cough, a really bad cough and a sore throat for like the entire week. And so I'm in this office where like everybody's masked up, it's really quiet, and I got there and I'm like, okay, I just have to not cough while I'm in the office, because I don't want them to like throw me out because of like COVID precautions or something. And I got there, like, I was supposed to be there at like 11 o'clock. I got there like 10:45. And they're like, our computer system is frozen and isn't letting us process you to generate the final paperwork for you to sign. So I ended up being there till like, I was supposed to be there at 11. I got there at 10:45. They weren't able to process my paperwork till like 11:30, 11:45, till they were able to print out the paperwork. I had been sucking cough drops, but I left my cough drops in the car because I didn't want to be sucking cough drops in the office. I still have a light cough and sore throat. So after all of that, I signed, got the electric bill in my name, got all of that stuff sorted and situated. And they're like, you can move in. So then it was just about moving my stuff in. But there's the catch. There's the other side. Right? Where for the last few years I've struggled with bed bugs. I dealt with them, not so much the place I lived at before, but the place before that was horrible. And it was, well, the place wasn't horrible, but the bed bugs were horrible. They ate at me, dealt with a whole lot of PTSD and trauma from the bed bugs, and a whole 9 yards. But, and I've seen some bed bugs. It's been a while since I've seen a bed bug at the place where I was staying at. But I'm like, I didn't want to bring them because it said in my rental contract, if they find bed bugs here and they do quarterly inspections, if it gets found that there are bed bugs coming from my apartment, they will send an exterminator to deal with them. But if it's proven that the bed bugs are from me, are from something I brought into the apartment, I have to pay for the exterminator. And that can be upwards of like $300 to $400. So I'm like, I do not want to bring bed bugs into the apartment because, one, I don't want to deal with them, period. But also I don't want to deal with paying, like having that huge bill, right? Because I would like, I have no resources, no savings, nothing to use in order to try to pay that off. So it has been a whole process of checking everything, being careful with everything, examining everything, trying to make sure that I'm careful as possible to make sure no bed bugs and also no cockroaches come with me. Because the one thing the last place I lived at did suffer from was a huge quantity of cockroaches. And that's another thing. If cockroaches are found in the place, then they'll do exterminator, but I've got to pay for it. So that's been a whole thing. And so I actually just came from my friend's place where I was doing a laundromat trip, washing and drying all my clothes. It's been a process going to my friend's house to get all my stuff washed and dried. And I had to go through, I went through with flashlights and examined all my stuff before I moved it. I'm putting down diatomaceous earth wherever I can. Just in case. And it's been a process. Yeah. The problem is, the bed bugs can survive for so long, like they're just so hard to kill. And cockroaches are even harder to kill. So it's just been a process, and what's been complicated has been all of this has been happening at the same time as my friend's place where I was staying. They have been cleaning and reorganizing and redoing their entire place. It's been an entire thing. So, there's been a lot of chaos, a lot of driving, a lot of gas money, and this all happened when I was short on money. Like, I get money at the beginning of the month for my temporary disability, but I did not expect this at the beginning of the month. Like, I thought I was good this month. So, you know what I did this month? I ordered some Vite ramen. I put an order into Vite ramen because I was like, it's going to be cheaper than eating out. I just got to wait for it to get delivered. So I thought I was good. And now, thankfully, the Vite ramen arrived the other day, and I've had some, and I've liked it. The one I had this morning, I wasn't super fond of, but I don't know if I burnt something. Because it had a weird. The one I had, the Vite ramen I had today, had this weird aftertaste. But like. Yeah, it's been chaos, it's been stress. And you know, it's really funny. So, Wednesday all of this kicked off, right? Not this week Wednesday, but last week Wednesday. And Tuesday evening nighttime, my mother texted me, and I don't talk to my mom a lot, right? My mom texted me and she was like, "Hey, what's your address?" And she said, text me this on Tuesday night, and I was like, what in the world? That's just bizarre. We haven't talked in like a month, and it's like, hey, what's your address? Albeit us not talking for a month is partially my fault, like, because I'm not very good at keeping in contact. So, no, I don't think so, at least. She told me that she was filling out some paperwork, so I don't know if it was like an insurance thing or what. So I gave her my address at the time, and then that was Tuesday night. And then Wednesday morning was when I got the call and all of this kicked off. And it was just chaos. With getting moved in, getting things situated. And it's been a process of moving stuff, cleaning stuff. And it's just been this process. I just got my computer up, my PC up here last night. I didn't know whether I was going to be able to do this stream tonight or if I was going to have to use my laptop for it, which was going to take a lot of setting up. But like, it's been nuts. I have pictures that I'm going to share later. I'm going to share after stream. Of stuff. Actually, I can pull up. But yeah. Anyway. So, I have an apartment now. What does that mean moving forward? Whereas before, I had my phone bill every 6 months, helping out with one bill in the house, and then the rest of my temporary disability money was for me to spend on eating out or buying stuff for stream or buying whatever, or buying games or, you know, just survival stuff. Now I have bills. I have rent. I have to pay for my internet now because I got internet set up, obviously, because I'm doing this. I got the cheapest internet I could, which is funny. So I'm hoping, like, don't expect a jump in quality of the stream because I have the cheapest internet I could get. Because everything's up in the air. And I am responsible. Thankfully, where I'm staying, my water and my gas are folded into my rent, but I'm responsible for the electric bill, which is the big question mark for me. I'm hoping to apply for a program to see if I can get some assistance, some energy assistance. But it's a big question mark because like I use a lot of electronics. Like the internet and stuff is a big part of my social circle. Right? So like that's just one thing that I'm gonna have to deal with. So, yeah, that's what's been going on with me. I may start doing more like subscriber stuff. Might be doing more stuff, pushing the Ko-fi. I might start doing donathons, depending on what my bills look like. I know, like, it is kind of highway robbery, some of the stuff they do. Like, okay, I'm trying not to dox myself because that is not cool. But like when I was getting my electricity turned on and put in my name, right? They're like, okay, $20 activation fee in order to put it in your name. Cool, awesome, outstanding, whatever. That's whatever, right? Then they're like, you've never had an account with us before. And I'm like, correct. I've never had an account with you because I've never had the electricity and stuff in my name before. And they're like, all right, so since you've never had anything in your name before, you have to pay a security deposit, which is like $100 some odd. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money. They're like, don't worry, you can split up the payment. So it's like $50 some odd for my first three bills. That means something like that, Jesus. Hello, Tribar. Welcome to stream. I was just sharing some stuff about what's been going on. Welcome. So, that means my first electric bill, before counting however much electricity I'm going to be paying, is going to be $20 plus like $50 some odd for that portion of the security deposit, before even how much electricity I use. And then my next two bills will have an extra 50 some odd tacked on top. In order to cover that. And if I keep up with all of my electric bills, then at the end of 12 months, I get that security deposit back, which whoop-de-doo. Like my lease will be, I'll be hopefully re-signing my lease at that point. But so, yeah, I now have bills, which makes it super scary that like I have my SSI hearing soon, and like that's just like another that now there's just like, if something goes wrong and I get denied and I lose everything, then like I am even more in up the creek. But if I receive this ability, then I'm in a really great. If everything goes right, then I'm in a great place. So it's a whole thing. And yeah, so as some of you may have noticed, I labeled to this as a game dev stream. Because I'm gonna rewind to when all of this started, right? When all of this started, I took a notebook and I actually brought 3 pens with me to the Airbnb. And only one of those 3 pens worked. And then when my laptop screen cracked, I was very bummed out because I was like, oh, that's sad. Because I was looking forward to using my computer. And then as I was just trying to think about what I wanted to do, what I wanted for the week when I got to the Airbnb, I realized that like I really wanted to work on this game. I had these ideas for this game that I want to make. I still don't have a name for it or even a prototype name for it. The one thing I know is that I wanted to use a lot of plugins in order to expand what the RPG Maker engine could do. So that's what I wanted to do. And I started putting notes down in the notebook. And I put all these notes down and I went on a whole ride. I've talked to some of people about it. It has been a lot of notes and like trying to nail down a combat system, because I feel like designing a combat system is something I didn't really do in my last RPG Maker project. I downloaded the expanded database to use with the skills and enemies and mechanics for that last project that I did. And I didn't use any plugins, so I kept everything kind of vanilla. And I just used things as they were. And I realized for this, I really wanted to have a custom combat system. Or at least I wanted to make some tweaks, some changes. There's only so much you can really customize with the stereotypical, RPG, turn-based RPG formula, right? Sorry. If you hear me coughing, I'm sorry. I'm still. It's been a day. So there's only so much that you can really do with that. But I realized I wanted to play with a lot of things. And what we're going to be doing tonight is I'm going to be taking these notes out of my notebook and putting them down into a very crude version of a game design document. And we're going to be working on building a document to keep track of all of these ideas and essentially digitizing these ideas as I share with you what I've been working on. And it was like before all the apartment stuff happened, I was like, you know what? For all the chaos going on, if I come out of this week of Airbnb with a fully planned out video game, then it'll all be worth it, right? It'll all be good. But then all the apartment stuff happened, and all of that stuff happened. So let's get to it. Let's see if the sound is going to be bugging again. Let's hold on. Hello, testing. Okay, looks like the sound is working. Oh. Hey, I definitely appreciate it, Jesus. Why is... Wow, hold on. Hold on. Let me view... Zoom... No, that's not what I want. There we go. I think that's what I want. Yes, that's what I want. Okay. So I've Burn, Brave, Bang, Ultimate, Final, God, Universe, Break. Oh my gosh. Bravern. Yes, there was Bravern. The final episode of Bang Bravern happened. Yes, that was a thing. That was very... It was very one of a kind, though. It was kind of funny. Bravern was a very unique show that I'm very glad I got to watch as it aired. But yes, Silva, Bravern was something else. I know a lot of the community is upset that we didn't get a kiss, but we got naked hand holding, which I think is close enough. We really did get naked hand holding. Bravern, never change. Anyway. So, let me... Yes, Jesus, hand holding. Okay, so this was... I was trying to do a story summary. And trying to nail down some things about the mechanics and the story. But we're going to save the story summary for later. Right now, I want to focus on the battle system. Okay. So. The main thing is that we're going to have two modes. Right? All right, Jesus, I'm glad to have you. Two main modes of combat, right? Okay. So we're going to have two main modes of combat, which are going to be on foot, and we're going to have mech. I'm going to be using a plugin that allows... I'm actually going to be using like a combination of 3 plugins, actually. That's going to allow me to create skills where the characters will be able to spend a currency called TP, which I'm probably going to call something else. I think I was going to name it. What was I going to name it? I think I was going to name it RP, or radiation points. Put it in here. Well, it's not, so it's not just going to be used. So in RPG Maker, there is this mechanic called TP, which they never in any of the RPG Maker things define what the T stands for in TP. And by default, most skills have the option to generate TP on use, and you generate TP as you take damage. And then you can create skills that cost TP to use. Now, normally, by default, TP empties at the end of each fight. And then you set an amount of TP that that the characters will start with, so then it becomes a currency that's kind of use it or lose it kind of thing. It's generally used for like kind of like rage mechanics. And like limit breaking mechanics, or for if you're building a character that has special moves but doesn't use magic, so they're not using MP, they're using TP, so then as they're fighting, they're building more TP that they're using to fuel their abilities, and all of that stuff, right? So I wanted to take that TP system and there's a plugin, Yanfly has an advanced TP plugin. What's it called? Yeah, enhanced TP. Which, like so many things from this design, lifts a concept from Final Fantasy X, which creates a thing where the player can select different ways for the characters to generate TP. Whether it be generating TP as you heal things, generating TP as you deal damage, generating TP as you do. So what I think I'm going to call it, hold on, I had it here. RAD, that's what it was. Radiation points. I started to put some of this stuff down. Let me show you. So, the basic mechanic here is that MP is going to be called soul or solar debris, and TP is going to be called rad or radiation points. The in-universe explanation here. No, I've never played the Lisa series. But the reason why I don't want to just call it mecha points is because it's used for more than just the mech. It's going to be used for a variety of abilities and techniques and things besides just the mechs. But so they're going to be building the rad. Basic thing about the world building is all magic is powered by solar debris, which is this dirt and sand mixture that gets shipped out to the space colonies to be exposed to cosmic rays to be transformed into this essentially magic dirt. This magical fuel that can be consumed by engines and generators and be used and fused into things and used to perform a variety of mystical effects and abilities. So basically, this entire advanced civilization runs on dirt. And then as you deal with things and situations, different individuals will build radiation. They will build radiation. Hold on, let me get some water. I'll be right back. Give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some water. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, I'm back. Had to hydrate myself. Got a water bottle with me so I can stay hydrated. So, as people fight and go through things, they're going to build the rad, but I'm going to be using the setting. I feel like what I want to do is use the setting where they keep their TP between battles. So then TP is going to be something that like, so it's going to be a thing where their MP, or in this case, the soul, is going to be refilled by items and refilled by resting at inns and stuff, right? But the TP can only be filled by the rad can only be filled by battle. Can only be filled by doing whatever thing it is that you do in order that you have it set for in battle. So that's what we're gonna do with that. But it's going to be like the summoning the mechs is going to be one of the most expensive things, but it's going to be a currency used for other things too. I want it to be used for other abilities. But back to what I want for this, right? I want on foot to be customizable equipment. I want on foot to be customizable equipment. In-depth element system. Which I'm going to go into the element system here in a second, right? What one of the things that you could do with the plugin is have the summons be a level or something relative to the character that summoned them, right? So we're going to be the mechs are going to be 2 times the level of the summoner. So it's going to be an element system, but the mechs don't really interact with the element system. They're going to be about power. Now, because the mechs are going to be a higher level, and I'm going to have some of the mech moves use level as a modifier for damage, or for how much they heal, or for what have you. They're going to have higher stats. They're going to do a lot of damage. But they're not going to interact as well with the element system, which let me get into the element system, because I think that is where things come together, which let me put this down. Now, I came up with something. It took me like 4 or 5 drafts, but I think I like how this goes, okay? Because I was like, you know, the fire, water, wind, earth stuff that you normally see in standard fantasy didn't feel right for this kind of like sci-fi space opera, right? It could theoretically be done, but I was like, I just felt like I could do something different. So I had an idea. So energy beats solid beats gas beats liquid beats energy. So energy beats solid, solid beats gas, gas beats liquid, liquid beats energy. So it goes in a circle. So energy could be a fire attack. It could be an electric attack. Energy could be, well, it's mostly going to be fire and electric. Solid's going to be stuff like earth or steel. Gas is going to be like wind or poison. Liquids are going to be like acid or water. And so taking these standard fantasy things and then putting them in more of a sci-fi edge, right? But then there's the fifth element. Mechanical. That could be a thing, Nabiru. But mechanical is strong against mechanical. So let me go over how I'm doing this. I based a lot of this. Energy could be ether. I wanted to take these. Hey Noel man, we're doing we're going through some of the stuff about the combat mode, the combats system for the game that I'm working on for my next RPG Maker project. So I was just explaining the element system, which is energy beats solid, solid beats gas, gas beats liquid, liquid beats energy. And then there's mechanical, which is the fifth element. Mechanical is neutral to the other four elements, but mechanical does beat mechanical. So let me explain what that means. Yes, I'll explain what this does, right? Every character and enemy has an innate element. We're using kind of like, I based a lot of this on Legend of Dragoon, some of it on like some of the stuff from Pokemon. But we're just kind of running with it. It's a very simplistic element system. Every character and enemy has an innate element. Being hit with your own element will heal you a small bit, except for mechanical. Because mechanical strong against mechanical. Being hit with your own element will heal you for a small bit, except for mechanical. Something like that. Being hit with an element you're weak to will do, right now we're saying 50%. Because everything is still in testing, so we're just saying 50% for now. I missed, that's the wrong week. Being hit with an element you are weak to will deal 50% bonus damage. Being hit by an element you're strong against will do 50% reduced damage. So that is one portion, but there's another complexity here. There's another complexity here. Using your own element will do 50% bonus damage. So when you make an attack of your own element, you will do 50% bonus damage. That includes mechanical. So a mechanical character, yes, stab essentially. A mechanical character doing a mechanical attack will do 50% bonus damage on that mechanical attack. using an element you are weak to will do 50% reduced damage. Now, this means that if you are using an attack of an element that you are weak to hit something that is strong against the thing that you are hitting it with. So if you will just choose blatantly the wrong attack, right? You're using the wrong attack for that character, and you're hitting something that's strong against it, you will do 0 damage. That is how that's working right now. Now this ideally is going to work for both enemies and for characters. So this is where the customizable equipment will come into play for being able to make your equipment have different elements in order to interact with the element system, or to give yourself additional resistances. So I don't know if I would do a move to change elements. I was thinking, because I want to do customizable equipment, I was thinking I could have a thing where you get like a special augment or something for your equipment that lets you change your elemental defense, or give you a new elemental defense probably. But I want the player to be able to customize their gear as they get gear and do stuff. Now, here's the thing. Mechs are mechanical element. So, what does this mean? This means that when the player summons the mech, because the mechs are mechanical element, that means that defensively, the mechs are going to be neutral to everything else except for other mechanical attacks. What this creates is a situation where you can just save up your radiation points in order to be able to just summon the mech and just optimize how you do things in order to get the mechs. Yeah, I'm not doing multiple elements right now. Yeah. Exactly, Jesus. I want there to be so if you're up against a mechanical opponent, which some bosses are going to be giant mechs, like there's going to be big mechs in the game, right? If you're up against the mechanical opponent, summoning your mech is going to be a high risk, high reward, because when you summon your mech, right? The enemy mech will do a bunch of damage to you with their mech attacks, but your mech will do a bunch of damage to the enemy mech with your mech attacks. So it becomes high risk, high reward. But the other thing is that because mechs are neutral to the other 4 elements, that means that a mech using a energy attack is going to be neutral, So that means if you had a character that, for instance, was solid, which is weak to energy, and you wanted to use an energy attack, but it would be better for you to summon your mech and use an energy attack, because the mech energy attack would be neutral. And the reason why there are 4 main elements is because there are going to be 4 main characters. And right now, my plan is to have each character have a different element. I'm glad that you like to see the system, Jesus. This is what I was cooking on while I was at the Airbnb. Now, I was thinking that, like, which works best with a simple yet variable approach to types. This type of system works best with a balancing chart, which works best with a simple yet variable approach to types. Okay. So I want there to be kind of like generic things. I want the characters and their roles to be representative of the types of things that these elements can do, but I want each element to have always at least one damaging type of attack. So that way, like, there's always a chance of getting hit with the elements, okay? So, So our main character, we're also going to kind of break the mold a little bit here. Not really break the mold, but main character is going to be a caster. Want generic ways of either ramping or trading rad. Yes, Nabiru. Want Well, the thing is, so there are going to be there are going to be some abilities. Everybody's going to have some abilities that use rad. But not everybody is going to have the soul abilities. Or at least that's the plan right now, because the soul abilities are going to be essentially the magic. Maybe I'll have I don't know, but I want there to be a different feel between the rad abilities and the soul abilities. I want them to feel different. Let's okay. Yeah. Melee DPS. Okay, so these are okay. So Rad is used for special non-magical abilities. Okay, so normally you want your main character to be your melee DPS slash warrior fighter person, because you want it to be someone who's going to be this kind of go-getter, forward-thinking, charge into combat, running in first kind of character, right? That's normally who you want to be, at least from what I've seen. At least some of the guides talk about like generic characters that are your main character of an RPG, right? We're flipping that on its head here, where the main character is going to be a caster slash gunslinger who's going to be firing magic bullets. Yes. Best friend is a tank and is solid. So caster is going to be energy. Tank is solid. Melee DPS is gas. And support slash healer is liquid. So these four primary roles are the roles that the player characters are going to fall into, right? Based on their abilities and resources. Yeah, there's very rarely a situation where your marshal does nothing. But this also, because I want to familiarize the players with these, so that way they can get I want to familiarize the players with these roles and this combination of this association between role and element, because I want for the enemies, the casters to be mostly energy, the tanks to be mostly solid, the kind of melee DPS to be mostly gas, and the support / healer character enemies to be mostly liquid. Now this creates a situation where your caster characters are going to be strong against your tanks, but your tanks are going to be strong against the melee DPS. And the melee DPS is going to be strong against the healers, but the healers, what limited damage dealing abilities they have, will be very strong against the casters. And we're going to use yes, the DPS wants to dive the back line. So this creates, so in this situation, right? What I want, my intended goal is that and this might be a bad goal, but it's kind of my goal with this system is that if the player wants to fully engage with the element system, wants to go on all the side quests to get all the rare weapon augments and all the special weapons, and wants to get all the special armors and all of that, that theoretically a player could go through certain battles of the game without needing to summon the mechs at all. Which it might seem kind of silly to be trying to make a portion of the combat system redundant, but what I want to do is I want to reward different types of play. Because, so the default style of play is going to be, you fight, build up your rad, and then use your rad to summon your mech. You fight with your mech till either it's destroyed or it desummons, because the mechs are only going to last like 4 turns. And so on and so forth. And then you optimize, because I'm going to use the enhanced TP plugin in order to give the players different ways for each character to build rad. Like the healer can build rad by healing things. Someone can be rad by how much damage they're dealing. Someone can do rad by how much damage they're preventing. I think that's one of them, is damage preventing. But they're going to build the rad as they see fit. So then you optimize how you're building rad. And then you use, since the mechs are going to be doubled, now the mechs are going to have no equipment. That's also another thing that we're going to feature, is we're going to feature the ability to switch weapons and shields in combat. So, what that does is you may have different weapons for different situations or for different elements, so that way you can switch up your weapon as you need to give you access to different abilities in the midst of combat. So that is, but the mech, so I want there to be different play styles. I want to reward different play styles. The mechs are going to have higher stats by the very nature of the fact that they're always going to be double the level of the summoner. Like, the on-foot characters are going to have a max level of level 100. The mechs are going to have a max level of level 200. And the mechs are going to have powerful abilities. And each mech is going to be different. I'm going to tailor each mech designed to the role that the pilot is supposed to be filling. So that way you don't have like weird tonal whiplash where your tank becomes a caster or your caster becomes a healer or anything ridiculous like that. But all elements will have some damaging skills. Yes, fighter use hyper beam cannon. I don't know that it's super unconventional as much as it's just I'm just trying to I don't know that I'm trying to reward different styles of play. But the idea is that in order to reach that level where you don't need the mechs, you need to go on side quests. You need to explore the dungeons fully and find all the treasure. You need to grind for money to buy special equipment, and special augments. You need to play more in order to do that. In order to get to the point where you don't need the mechs. Because the mechs don't interact with the element system in the same way. And there's going to be some situations where you're going to have some characters getting in their mechs and other characters not getting in their mechs. That's going to happen. That's going to be a thing that happens. Just because of how TP gets built and the limited nature of the mechs. and there'll be some characters that'll want to stay out of mech. Like, your caster is going to have a variety, like both the caster and the melee DPS are going to have access to attacks of a variety of elements in order to be able to do different things, right? Not just their own stabs, right? Like, there may be some instances in which the energy character, your caster, will use a liquid attack in order to hit another energy enemy, because the weakness will be canceled out by the weaknesses. Mm-hmm. That definitely makes sense, Noel Main. Mm-hmm. See, that was one thing I tinkered with, Jesus, but the problem is the plugin that I'm using doesn't really allow for that, because I'm creating, so with this engine, I'm creating the mechs as separate characters. And the plugin, whenever the mech gets summoned, is where it will get summoned as if it's a new character joining the party, with its starting equipment, except its level is going to be whatever level I set it for. So trying to create a situation in which the players can customize their mechs doesn't super work with that plugin. Like, that was one thing I tinkered with about, like, possibly having ways to customize the mechs, whether it be through custom gear, or through custom gear, or through choosing abilities and choosing skills and allocating skill points and stuff to optimize the mechs. But I feel like it just, in order to try to make that a thing, there would require so much extra, like, coding knowledge that I don't have, that I think it's going to be easier to lean into what I do have, which is the mech is going to be a set thing. Well, each mech will be its own set thing. And lean into that difference. The difference between the customization and the optimization of the fighting on foot versus the just brutality and power of the mech. And there will be mechanical opponents. So it won't just be bosses, but there will be some mechanical opponents. I'm still working out how I want the player to be able to know what enemies are, what elements. Because it's a thing where I'm not familiar with that term, MVP. I know that as most valuable player, but I'm not sure if that's what you mean for that term, Jesus. Have you thought about how to design an MVP for this system? Minimum viable product. I haven't gotten there yet. Everything's still in the planning stages. I know that that's like the next thing that I need to do. Because now that you've mentioned it, I remember because I did read about it when I did my last RPG Maker project. And it's a thing where I need to plan out like what I want to be the minimum amount needed for the game to be complete. I have to plan out milestones and all that jazz. Everything is still in the planning stages right now. Mm-hmm. I'll also introduce limited use items that do mechanical damage, like hit me with it, Jesus. Okay. 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 I think we got a lot of stuff down here. This is most of what I had down in my notes. First battle you should design is maybe a set of fights where you can build rad up and see if you find that certain characters are always summoning mechs or other specific moves against a variety of different enemies. That says something. That's definitely something. Though to be fair, my next step is having the money to buy the Yanfly package of plugins. So, I plan. So, for those of you who don't know, RPG Maker is a very simplistic engine in what it allows, but people have developed plugins to go with it. Some plugins are free, some plugins are paid. One of the most proficient plugin designers and is Yanfly, who had a team working on a lot of plugins for RPG Maker MV, which is what I'm designing this on. A lot of the core plugins are available for free, but for the specific things that I want, I would either have to buy like 4 or 5 of the $10 packs, or just buy the $30 pack that is all of Yanfly's plugins for RPG Maker MV. So that is next on my list. I have to see what's left after bills. But 1 against each class, and 4 against 4 times each class. I have to randomize each time so you can see how the fights go up, go at different rad build levels. Okay. In order to stress test the combat system. Okay. It's funny, when I first started this the beginning of last week, right? I was like, well, I could, because I had some money left over after people like donated so much stuff to help me get the room. I was like, I could use this for food, or I could use this for getting the plugins. I'm like, I'm going to use it for food, which I was good that I chose that because I needed that money for food. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait till the beginning of next month when I get next month's money, and then I'll get the plugins then. Well, now I have all these bills, so I don't even know. I might end up waiting 2 or 3 months, but then by that point, I'll have my SSI hearing, and we'll see how all of this pans out. Oh, goodness, Nabiru. Yes, the broke game dev life. Exactly, Jesus. But I feel like I have a solid starting point here with this combat system. Like I think not to pat myself on the back, but I think I have a good solid starting point here with the element system, the whole stab thing, and the classes set up. Yeah, I think it's a good start. Not complaining or anything, but as a dev who has been in that position, you should consider that most of what you'll be doing will depend on the foundation of your game, aka what you're doing right now. Yeah, I think it's important. I think this is very important to like have a strong foundation. Yeah. The MVP is the experiment. I get what you're saying, that like because the thing is, this isn't even oh great, someone's car alarm's going off outside. But it's a thing where this is just dealing with the combat system. This isn't dealing with, like, all of this right now isn't dealing with the story, isn't dealing with the dungeons, isn't really even dealing with the bosses as much as it's just the base foundation of the combat system. So that is kind of what I'm working with here. I don't know if you all can hear the car alarm going off outside. I hope you can't. I have a sound gate set up. But yeah, I'm gonna have to build. So in order to do that, right? In order to in order to do the 5 fights, right? I need to build I'm probably gonna give them generic equipment. Build all 4 mechs, prototype them. Build 5 enemies. So I had some rough drafts of different types of enemies that I could work with, right? I was watching, because like Yanfly made some comics going over like game development stuff, right? And I was looking at some of them to look at like ideas for different types of enemies, and the different types of moves I would want each enemy to have. And all of that. Yes, the game has to have a certain level of complexity, or else it's not a game. It's just a it's. Mhm. And so my first draft, right? My first draft was just the 4 elements. Well, not my first draft, but like one of the drafts I was settled on was just the 4 elements. And I was going to say that the mechs had no element. But then I was like, I feel like that just doesn't do enough. So I thought instead of saying the mechs have no element, make the mechanical element. So that way it creates the interaction with other mechanical enemies. One thing that would be really cool, I don't know if it would work. In Legend of Dragoon, there is this mechanic where different enemies and characters, their nameplate, when their name appears above them, is colored based on their element. It would be really cool if I could figure out some kind of a thing to easily tell the player what element the enemy is. I've been tinkering with I've been doing some research on developing scanning of like a Libra skill. Or to have some kind of a thing that like tells the player that the attack was super effective or something, in order to let them know what's the effective thing to use against stuff. Yeah, that's definitely true, Jesus. I think it might be better, instead of trying to work on the color coding classes, to see if I can find a plugin that lets me add super effective, not very effective text. Just as a really quick way for like through trial and error for characters to find out what does more damage and react accordingly. Could do a scanning skill. Some kind of way for the player to find out and to interact with the element system. If you're going for the super effective, not very effective text plan, make sure the two fastest PCs are not on opposite corners of the type square. Because then they could suss it out if I had one on energy and one on liquid. Or one on energy and one on gas. Are you saying that then they could suss it out really quickly? Oh, if they're next to each other, you can figure it out. But if they're opposite squares, they can't. Okay. So like if I have, because I haven't even really planned out who's going to be fast. Like I know the solid character, the tank is going to be slow. I'm planning for the tank to be slow. Probably the gas and energy characters are going to be the only fast ones. Definitely faster than the healer, who's going to be liquid. So the energy can find out if it's an energy or a solid or a liquid. Yeah, same type heals. So I feel like any one of them, if I use the super effective text, any one of them could figure it out, because it's either, because when you get hit with it, unless it's a mechanical, the only no, it's fine. The same type healing is kind of silly, but I feel like that's my own twist on it, because I've seen same type be like not very effective. But I feel like having a thing like, it's not going to heal like 100% of the damage. It's probably only going to heal like 25% or maybe 12.5% of the of the amount. Probably we'll say I wanted to heal a small amount. Let's say 25% of the damage. Yeah. I want to reserve mechanical. Like, there will be some regular mechanical enemies, but I also want the mechanical to be like a big boss mechs. Great. Someone's car alarm is going off again. Okay. But I feel that by since you can add, the idea is that you can add elements to your attacks with the augments that you can add to the weapons. So if you know a thing is weak to a thing, you can make the regular attacks, like you can make, if your tank is going to be attacking, you can make your tank's base attack or whatever abilities your tank is using do damage based on the element of the weapon. But rare mystic attribute, not legendary, but not common. Classic, yes, exactly, Naviroom. Okay. So I'm gonna have removable augments for weapons and armor. They're gonna add elements to the base attacks. Our other skills, armor, shield augments can add elemental resistances. They can also add buffs. So there's going to be a variety of augments that do different things, but among them are going to be elemental augments. But there's not going to be a mechanical element augment. That's going to be the one that's like super that you just can't get. Because if you could get a mechanical element augment, that just completely invalidates the mechs. And I don't want to, it's also a gun. Yes. And while you won't be able to change augments in battle, you will be able to change weapons. So you may have, if you've collected enough augments, you may have energy weapons for all of your characters. If you know you're going into a thing where there's going to be a lot of liquid characters. I'll admit, when I came to the solar debris stuff, I was heavily inspired by Ruby and the dust. The dust that they use for their like effects and stuff and auras and all that stuff that they use in Ruby. I'll probably have to build a minimum viable product just for the combat. Like, I'll have to build a thing just to test the combat before I even do the story, which I think I mentioned that earlier. And I'll probably have to do things for each stage. It's funny. So when I did my first RPG Maker project, right? I said I wanted my first RPG Maker project to be super simple, just a proof of concept. Yeah. And I wanted my second one to be my actual game that I wanted to make, which I didn't think I was going to do, because when I made my first RPG Maker project, I got burnt out on it. I wasn't motivated by it. It was a generic fantasy game. I wasn't motivated. I wasn't energized by it. But I didn't know if I was going to pick RPG Maker back up because I got so burnt out on it. But I think I'm kind of feeling energized by all of this. So I'm hoping to actually like finish this. Like this is one thing I really want to finish. So when I learned about minimum viable products, Jesus, it was I think it was in one of Yanfly's comics, they described it as a thing where like you create the minimum thing of what the game needs to do, and you string together, like you have like one room for each dungeon, one room for one map for each town with like with just a minimum number of buildings needed. And how did Yanfly do it? Have one person to talk to in the town to unlock the dungeon, do the dungeon. The dungeon is just you go through and you collect item, move to next dungeon. As kind of a simplistic proof of concept. But I could see that. Make a little boss rush. That's true. This isn't really, I'm not really planning a dungeon crawler. It's gonna be not quite a hallway simulator as much as it's an RPG. It's gonna be very story heavy, but I want the combat, I want the mechanics to be important. Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, the loop here is going to be whether you're going to use the rad for summoning the mech, because the thing is, if you summon the mech, right, the mech appears and then your character disappears. So you are using the mech instead of the regular character. The mech replaces the character. That is what we're going to have for the design here. So it's easy. Since the mech replaces the character, it's gonna be a thing where you have to choose what way you want the combat to work. Do you want your character to fight on foot and then use your rad for your other boosting and buffing and other abilities and still have access to all of your other elemental abilities, your elemental weapons, your elemental armor, and shields? Okay. The enemies are randomized. It's a good idea to be able to quickly test out whether you always want to mech out or not. Yeah. And also, like, there's going to be like mixtures of enemy types. I'm planning for there to be a thing where like you're going to be fighting different enemy types that'll be like mixed and stuff, and where it's not all like you're going to have a tank, like there's going to be some kind of a tank enemy that's going to be a solid that's going to be protecting a caster character that's going to be energy. So the tank is going to be taunting in order to make you have to attack the tank, because I'm going to use the taunt plugin for that. So you're going to want to be able to do that. That's a thought. Four total enemies, but each fight randomizes which one of the five. Okay, so you were saying for the original thing you said, have one fight be against like one of each class, and then the other four fights be against four of each class. Okay. So testing one way or the other. Yeah, that could be a thing. That's not super how. I'm not sure if I could really replicate that whole roll the d4 to decide enemy. So in RPG Maker, you make individual enemies and then you make troops of enemies out of the individual enemies that you've made. And then on each scene, on each map, you put the troops on a random table in order to determine which troops would arrive. So I think I could I could make 4 enemies. Oh, what's a game maker? I haven't heard of that one. Is it Game Maker Studio? Oh, that's cool. I'll look into that at some point. Might be something to work on, but I've heavily planned this this project for RPG Maker, so I'm going to stick to RPG Maker for this. But what I could do oh, it's fine, Jesus. 5 enemies, 1 of each type. Make troops of each combination. Actually, could I use a battle processing thing to randomly pull? That got me curious. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. I keep hearing this banging noise, and I want to see if that's my door or if it's something else. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm back. Can you make an array of monsters as an object and create a function that grabs a random object from them? I think I could do that. I think I could do that. Hold on. Absolutely random. So that play a random encounter enemies. You choose what enemies you're pressing the map or regions. I'm an event to run. Let me see this. Common event will run. Next, go to the plugin manager. Double click. Then they will display the message encounter. We'll assume this is common event 1. So there's a plugin that could do that. Okay. Oh wait, no, this isn't what I thought. This is a thing that runs a common event whenever you would hit a random encounter. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay. But anyway, I could I got derailed there for a second. Make troops of each combination of each type. So right now what I'm thinking, build 5 enemies, 1 of each type. And then make a troop of each combination of each type. Which, I don't know, how many troops is that? Is that... I'd probably not do everything, because that's like astronomical, because that would be 5 to the fourth power, wouldn't it? Now I'm getting my math set up. If it's 5 enemies split into groups of 4, yeah. Hello, Skinny Bones Aaron. Man, I feel the same pain as you do. Use write game scripts in English class, coding class. Reminds you of painful times. Oh, thank you, Skinny Bones Aaron. It's always glad to have support of others. Don't do everything. Test troops you could see being common. Yeah, that makes sense. Make troops. Five enemies, one of each type. They make commonly occurring troops. Put them all into an encounter table and let the player run around. So what I'm thinking is I'll have a small map. I'll have an encounter table with the enemies. I'll probably have a healing station. Have a healing station on the map. That could work. Have a healing so the player can just run around. Test players run around to keep track of how many times they summon their mechs for each character. So it would be more than just 5. I'd probably do like don't allow for leveling up? Okay. So then I just have to build 1 level. Okay, that's easier. I was thinking I'd have to build like multiple levels. So I'll probably build like kind of mid-level, like early, probably just high enough that it can be tested. P. Build the least amount of things necessary to test everything. That makes sense. So I'm thinking I'll prototype all four player characters same level with generic equipment. Since the whole thing is about equipment, I'd probably put equipment for each element in the inventory. Give no EXP. Okay, so set up these 5 fights, randomize. So I'd probably ask them to do like, if I want a good sample size, probably like 20 fights. I don't know. Get a good sample size. All right. So my thought is prototype all 4 player characters at the same level with generic equipment. I put equipment for each element in the inventory so the characters, so the players can test out different elements. Not going to have any of the buffs or bonus skills or any of that other stuff, just the base element stuff. And then prototype the player mechs, have the enemies, and have the players run around fighting and recording how many times they summon their mechs for each character for some sample size. I think that works. So that's next on my list. After I get all the plugins, that's going to be my next step in order to test the combat system. That's also true. Okay. So have a healing station so they can keep healing between battles. Test players run around, keep track of how many times they summon their mechs for each character, and a running tally of how many times each move gets used. Okay. Okay. All right. So we got a lot of good notes down. Got a good solid base. Got next steps planned out. Let's go to wind down mode. And let's wind down for the last few minutes. That's a good thing. Okay. All right. That was a thing. Let's head back over to the just chatting screen and wind down and just chill for a little bit. Okay. Well, that was a thing. All right. Gonna look into this game maker thing. All right. Let's see if there's anything cool online to talk about as we wind down. It's nice to see you all again. A little quick thing. On Monday is going to be the next stream. But I am streaming. Well, I am only streaming once on Monday, but I am going to be in a second stream. Some of you may have saw me repost it on Twitter or X, but on Monday I'm going to be playing in a collaboration with for Hero Girl's birthday party. Gonna be doing we're gonna be playing Raft. I've never played the game before. I'm intentionally not playing. I've downloaded the game. I'm intentionally not playing it until then so I can figure it out as we go. Gonna figure it out on stream. But gonna be playing Raft for Hero Girl's birthday party. Gonna be doing that from 4 p.m. to I expected gonna be going till 7 p.m. Then after we get done with that stream, I'm gonna grab something to eat, and then hold on, let me check something real quick. Yeah, okay. And then after that, I'm gonna grab something to eat, and then hopefully gonna grab something to eat, and then do my Monday night stream. Don't quite know what I'm gonna do yet. Might do a gaming stream, tinker with that. Haven't done a gaming stream in a little while. See if I still remember how that works. Let's see if there's anything cool to talk about. Oh, what was the podcast about, Jesus? Alrighty. All right. I was gonna make a podcast called Frame One, where I would try to get a new RPG I hadn't read, get a few friends, give us all like an hour to read the rules, and then make characters, and then start playing. Ooh, that sounds fun. Alrighty. The idea was to test each RPG from a new player lens and explore my own views on role-playing. Ooh, that could be fun. I like watching ones where people learn new games. I like watching streams where people learn new games and have to do really cool stuff with them. Like I watched one where where an experienced game master ran two players through building characters and playing through a game of Masks. And that just kind of sold me on the Masks game system. And I was really hyped because I was almost going to be in a Masks game, but that kind of fell through. And but the thing was, like at first I was like, wow, this is so cool that these people could just pick it up and play and it ran so smoothly and blah 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 blah. But after I learned more about how masks works, I realized that the game master was like smoothing over a lot of the specifics and like very much simplifying a lot of the mechanics. And I think that that's interesting. Yes, for exactly teen superheroes. Um, blah, 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 blah. Oh, there was a. I don't remember that cartoon. Someone's posted a thing on Facebook about some cartoon cats don't dance. Aw. Yeah, like I like masks for its simplicity. Sorry, I got distracted. I like masks for its simplicity. Oh, you got a job? Congratulations, Jesus. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I like masks for its simplicity, for its smoothness, and I don't know if elegance is the right word. But it has a certain like I guess grace to it as how all the pieces fit together so well in masks. But like I'm not a super big fan of the teenage superhero genre. And I really wish there was a way like there are Powered by the Apocalypse games for adult superheroes like Worlds in Peril. But the thing is Worlds in Peril is a lot more clunky than Masks is. And it's very different setup. Oh, found a funny meme. I gotta share this. Maybe the last thing I share before we wind down for the night. This is funny. I think the Sentinels with Cypher are basically my Super's game of choice now. That's cool. I've heard some good stuff about Cypher, but I haven't heard of Sentinels before. Anyway, this meme. Now. No, 0.1 decibels. No. Back then, Apache helicopter noises. It's thinking. You remember that? It was like, oh, the computer's thinking. Hmm. Hold on one second. What? Yeah, it do be like that. Alrighty. So let's wind down. I'm going to let this ad run. Got a Twitch ad that's running. Once that Twitch ad finishes, we'll do our wind down for the night. PC make whirring death noises as I open palm the... Oh my gosh. Yeah, something like that. I miss back when everything was made out of Nintendium. Yes, yes, yes. Ugh. Okay. Let me see if this ad is done running yet. Almost done. Oh. Okay. Yeah, everything was made out of Nintendium. All right, we're back from the end screen. Let's see if I still remember how to do this outro. Let's see if I still remember how to do this. It has been 2 weeks since I did the outro, and I always stumble through it anyway. So, let me scroll through and see how many people we had come through tonight. So, for those of you who don't know, I like to end my streams by speaking positivity into the lives of my viewers, saying positive and uplifting and affirming things to all of my viewers to let them know how much I value each and every one of them. So, to Jesus, Noel Main, LeMay, Nabiru, Silva. Who else? Tribar. What else did we have in here tonight? I think that was it. I don't know. I think we had Skinny Bones Aaron. And to all of you, oh, well, congratulations, Noel Main. And anyway, to all of you, and anyone who watched the stream and didn't say anything in chat, and to anyone who watches this VOD afterwards, I want to say that I love all of you, and I believe in each and every one of you. I believe that each one of you is a truly precious, unique, and one-of-a-kind individual that makes this world a better place by living in it in your own unique way. I believe that each one of you makes not only this world better, but my community better, and makes my life better by being at these streams and participating in this community. I think that you are all valuable, worthy of love, deserving of good things, and of happiness. That you are, your hopes, your dreams, your fears, your concerns are valid and worthy of notice. You matter. You matter not just to me, but to this world. And this world would be less without you in it. Thank you for coming to my stream. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for being amazing and giving me your time, your attention, and your energy. Always remember the Star Hunter motto: shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always stop to enjoy the memes. One thing I do ask is if you're watching on YouTube to like the stream. It helps the algorithm with pushing it out to other people. It lets me know what people are interested in, and it just helps out all around. If you're watching on Twitch, then please follow, and I appreciate all of that. One thing I do ask is if you have any friends or neighbors or aunts or uncles or relatives or enemies or arch nemesis or deadly rival, lovers to enemies, enemies to lovers, best friend, childhood best friend, anyone you think might enjoy my content, feel free to invite them to the next stream or to show them my content. Next stream is going to be Monday, 8:30 p.m. EST. Like I said, Monday at 4 p.m. EST, I'm going to be starring in a stream with Hero Girls. Look forward to that. It's going to be on Hero Girls Twitch. So look forward to seeing that for Hero Girls' birthday party. I will try to post about it before it goes live to let you all know. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing on social media or outside of stream, you can follow me on X or Twitter, join my Discord, follow me on Blue Sky, follow me, I said on Twitter. You can like my fan Facebook page, all of that jazz. You can subscribe to me on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitch, or if you feel motivated, subscribe to me on Twitch. I appreciate all of it. Speaking of appreciation, I do want to say that you do not have to donate to be a part of this community. You don't have to give money to be welcome here. While I may need to look into further monetization options in the future, because now I do have much more aggressive bills, I will always try to make a place for people who cannot afford to contribute, because I value each of you. I think you all have a value and a worth that is far beyond what money is in your wallet. And I appreciate all of you. But with that said, I do appreciate the people who have donated to help make things possible in the past. I appreciate the people who have helped me out, especially in this most recent time with helping me with the Airbnb and with everything that's been happening so far. I appreciate each and every one of you for everything that you've been able to do to help me survive. If you ever feel motivated to donate to improve the stream, to improve my life, to help me out with any number of things, and you're financially in a position in which it is safe to do so, there are links where you can do so in the description down below on YouTube and on the donate panel on Twitch. Also on my Ko-fi, there are things where you can sign up for monthly subscriptions, monthly regular donations if you want to help me out. There's not really rewards for those right now, but it's more of just if you want to help me out with stuff, I appreciate it. So with that said, thank you for being amazing. Now let me see if we have anybody to raid with. Do we have anybody watching? We do have people watching on Twitch, so let's see if there's anybody to raid on Twitch. Let's see if there's anybody to raid. Who have we got? We could raid Roomba. I haven't raided Roomba in a while. And it's been a while. Excuse me. One thing I will say, because I do try to be family friendly, Roomba is definitely doing... Roomba's doing some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Oh, cool. But Roomba is for mature audiences, so keep that in mind. Anyone who is riding the train on Twitch from one thing to another. Let me just set that up. Raid channel. Naughty Roomba. Okay. Well, thank you for coming, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Good night, everybody.